Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
So I recorded a video for the Women Wanting More Facebook page a few days ago that was entitled, what this podcast is, routine or die. Now, you're not going to die if you don't have a routine in your life, but listen, I got to share the story with you. So if you've been following the podcast for a while, you know that this podcast is heavily influenced by the work of Garrett J. White from Warrior on Fire. My husband went to Warrior Week a year and a bit ago, and we started to actually follow out of Garrett's the things that he taught about having it all, even before I went to Warrior Week, and just our lives have completely transformed. I'm walking outside. I now live in Victoria, BC. We used to live in Alberta. We're in this amazing house, which is like I could have never imagined we'd have been here a year ago. We just purchased a brand new vehicle. Our marriage is better than it's ever been. We're spending more time with our kids. Like, everything has transformed because of that. And it happened from some very specific things. Number one, we got really clear on what we wanted within our lives. And that continues to get more and more clear over time. It's not perfect. I think I'm clear on this. And then it's like I just go deeper and I go, no, actually it's this that I want. But we got really clear and continue to ask ourselves this question. What do we want? What do we want in our marriage? How do we want to show up as parents? What do we want in our businesses and our bank accounts? What do we want with purpose? What do we want with our bodies and our health? We then ask the second very poignant question. Why does it matter for us to want these things? Why is it significant? Why is it important? Why are these things an absolute must for us? And then we simply made a commitment and started to do the work. And here's the thing, it doesn't just happen that we don't just go, okay, so I want to have a marriage like this, and here's why, and you ask the deep questions, okay, let's do the work, woo, let's go. No, you have to then set outcomes, right? Set outcomes, have things that are measurable, realistic, with a timeline. And what comes down with those outcomes is you plan things out. What I'm going to now refer to as your more map, where you sit down each Sunday, and you figure these things out. When are my workouts? When is our date night? When is time with the kids? When do I work? When do I get these key four movers, the necessary required actions that'll bring me towards my business goals? Like, you plan all this stuff. So here's the story I want to share with you. I've been very, very dedicated to that, very militant, if you will, on staying on track with that. Up until about 3 or 4 months ago, when we started the whole process of this move, I got pretty loose with it. And, there was things that were going on in our life. I wasn't like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I fell off track. I took all the hammers out. No, I just went, you know what, this is what is for now. I can't play the game at that intensity with all of the things that are happening. Closing 2 businesses, selling our house, moving, kid stuff, still running our businesses, like just massive amounts of shit that we had to do to get to where we are right now in this place of expansion. And so I got very loose with this stuff. I stopped doing a lot of my, what I now call my more map, I used to call the Sunday planning with my clients. I just fell off track with this stuff. I would kind of sort of do it, but just not as committed, not as clear when I set up my outcomes. And so what I've noticed is that over the last couple of weeks, and again, we moved here 5 weeks ago. My mother-in-law passed away literally 2 days after we moved into our new home. Like, it's been a lot of stuff going on. And I gave myself some grace. And I gave myself some space because that's really what I was feeling. I was just literally exhausted. Just found like I was run right into the ground. Needed that space to really work things out. Good morning. And so I'm recording this walking outside my house right now. Say one of my neighbors. And so as I now dropped off my son Tyson for his first day at school, albeit it's a half day, 2.5 hours, leaving in about 10 minutes to go pick him up. And our youngest son, Kai, is now in full-time daycare. It's like, oh God, thank God there's some fucking routine back. And so I'm now like, all right, let's do this, man. What are my outcomes the next 90 days? Let me plan things out. And what I've noticed is I felt very kind of lost the last couple weeks. I just have felt, again, it's the move and stuff, a new place. We don't know anyone here. We're kind of figuring everything out, new routines, meeting new people. I mean, all the stuff that goes along with that, right? But I haven't felt as focused, as sharp. I think some of the fatigue is also too just like, we got to the outcome, which was like, all right, we got everything ready for the move. Okay, close the office, cool. Get the negotiations of the landlord, cool. Get rid of all the stuff, sell the stuff, give away the stuff, find out who's going to take care of our patient, like all the stuff that's just the office closing. And then we do the same thing with the house. And the same thing before that with my doTERRA business. And then same thing before that with all the move and unpacking it. Like it's been like, what's the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. So now we finished all that stuff. Yeah, we still have like pictures to go up on the wall and, we've bought a few pieces of furniture and there's kind of those, but all the big things are now in place. So I think this sense of like, just feeling like I'm wandering a bit, not as focused, more tired, is because I have not sat down and done my warm up each Sunday. And those are based on outcomes that you will set over the next 90 days that are clear, that are realistic, that are measurable, that are the things that you want. You know why you want these outcomes. And then you figure out each Sunday, or it could be Monday morning, but Sunday, how am I going to get those things this week? What are 4 things I can do that'll move me closer towards my business or my money goals? Where my workout's going, where my date night's going. Where's the time for me? You plan all the stuff in place. In addition, you look back on the previous week and go, okay, cool. What worked? What didn't work? Again, you don't beat yourself up, sister. There's no hammers that come out. But you clearly look back on the week. Imagine how your life would be different if you actually planned all this stuff. Now, you may be listening to this right now like, oh my God, Karen, it's going to take so much time. Yes, it'll take you an hour or two. But guess what? It actually frees up a massive amount of time. Because now you're not like, okay, one of the workouts happening. It's, Thursday hits, oh my God, honey, when we go day night, you get in the center, blah, blah, blah. Like it's a lot of what I often call brain bandwidth that is freed up when you don't have to. It's like, okay, Monday, cool. Dropping off the kids here, picking them up there, have my calls at this time, writing a newsletter in here. This is when I go to the gym. Like it's all planned out. This is significant. Significant. This is what I run on my group masterminds. This is what we'll be going deep into at the live event. Now, is there other pieces to this? You bet. You bet. Because if you don't have now the mindset tools to put this together with these skill sets, it's all for naught. Things like what Garrett talked about, a positive focus, doing Byron Katie's The Work. Like all of these things matter. What are the stories that you're running? They matter. You need to have those first, but if you don't have a map on how to make these things happen, you will just go from crisis to crisis, putting out fire after fire, saying, well, I know what I need to do, I just don't do it. Why don't I do it? Asking the wrong questions. Why am I such an idiot? Why didn't I get things done? Why am I such a fuck up? Why did I fail again? Instead of asking, what are the things that I want? Why does it matter? Why do these need to happen? What do I want? So here's your more tip for today. If you haven't already gotten clear on what you want and why it matters in your life, with your health, with your marriage, with your money, with your purpose, do that first. They must be measurable, realistic, with a timeline. We usually go 90 days with the women that I coach in masterminds, one-on-ones, and yes, we'll do this as well too at the live event, which as I record this, there are 5 seats remaining to apply. Going to be life-changing, coming up in about 5 weeks. But after that, it's sitting down on that Sunday to now do your more map. scheduling these things out. Again, when are the workouts? When are the date nights? What are the 4 things you need to do to move towards your business goals? I had a client in one of my group mastermind pods that said, well, why are we only setting up the necessary required actions to reach the business goals? Because, sweetheart, if you don't have money coming in, you can't do the other things. If you don't have the money coming in, you can't do the date nights. You cannot pay for the gym membership. You cannot do the yoga, buy good food. You cannot do the things that you want unless you have some money coming in to be able to support those things. The date nights, the time with your kids, the special events, the vacations. So what are the 4 things you need to do in business that move you closer to your outcomes? And then you set benchmarks. Where should you be at 30 days, 60 days to hit the 90-day outcomes? Now, this is a lot of information. This is something that we spend a lot of time in my group masterminds. In my one-on-one coaching, again, at the live event, we're going to talk about these things, but this will give you some understanding of why routine matters. Routine or die, kind of dramatic. Maybe it made you listen to this podcast episode. But honestly, if you're not doing the things that you want in your life, sister, I'm going to suggest to you that you actually are dying a slow death. Your life is meant to be played big. Are you playing it, or are you shrinking and playing small? Be clear on what you want. Tell the truth. Be honest. Know why it happens. And do what you need to do to make that happen, including your warm up every single Sunday. So check this out. By the time this podcast episode comes out, the Woman Wanting More website is now live. So you're going to go to drkarenosburn.com, drkarenosburn.com. You'll be able to sign up for the newsletter, which you need to do to get VIP access, to get information on my book coming out within the next 8 to 9 months or sooner, to apply for the live event, apply for any of my coaching programs, to connect with me there. All the podcasts are there on the website. But the newsletter, I will actually stay in touch with you daily. Daily. See, the message that I teach is not the message that's really out there that much. What's the message that's out there in society? Play small. Live a mediocre life. Don't stand out. Follow the crowd. So guess what happens when you try to live a life that's different, or maybe even in opposition to that? It's fucking hard. So unless you surround yourself with that message and those that can support and inspire you to live this way, you will feel like you're all alone in this. You are not alone, sister. So make sure to hop on the newsletter so you can join that Woman Wanting More sisterhood, the tribe, and we get to stay in touch with you every single day. So that's over at drkarenosburn.com. So I will talk to you in the next episode, sister. A life of more is just one step away from you doing the fucking work every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosburn.com/newsletter.